night, when I looked into his eyes, I didn't realize I had already crossed a point of no return. I was still breathing. My heart was still beating. But the human warmth inside me had been replaced by a cold that would never fade. If I had listened to the raw terror tearing through my chest, I would have run without looking back. But I trusted him. And that cursed trust invited the darkness straight into the center of my life. Everything began weeks earlier in a place that seemed completely harmless. A quiet cafe, soft music. There was no way I could hear the footsteps of the disaster approaching. Meeting him felt like an innocent coincidence. A short conversation, a shared glance. He was so calm that I failed to see the storm beneath the surface. He was listening to me carefully, like a hunter studying its prey. He never rushed anything. He was patient. That patience wrapped around me like a poisonous vine, making me feel safe. The feeling was stronger and more real than anything before, yet deeply unsettling. The first weeks felt like a dream. We talked, we laughed, and I lowered all my defenses, surrendering to him completely. I thought this calm would last. Sometimes his gaze would turn empty as he asked questions that cut into my soul. About my past, my deepest fears, my nightmares. I thought he was just curious, but he was mapping my weaknesses. The first sign of the nightmare came on a night when I was alone. I heard heavy, dragging footsteps outside my door. Then, suddenly, a suffocating silence. I threw the door open, but the hallway was deathly quiet. No shadow, no sound. I locked the door, convincing myself my mind was playing tricks on me, but that feeling had already slipped inside. After that night, my home turned into an asylum. Lights flickered violently. My phone shut itself off. Worst of all was the feeling of being watched, like cold breath against the back of my neck. At first, I didn't dare tell him. I was afraid he would think I was losing my mind. I kept whispering to myself that stress was eating at me, that the shadows were only illusions. But the presence followed me everywhere. At home, at work, even in my sleep. Dark shapes appeared in the corner of my vision and vanished the moment I turned to face them. When I finally told him, he showed no surprise. There was a strange, unsettling calm on his face, as if he already knew every detail of the horror I described. He told me fear poisons the mind. "You're just tired," he said in an icy voice. "Relax, and trust me, I won't let anything hurt you." Even then, something felt off. On the night everything collapsed, I woke up paralyzed. My room was as cold as a morgue, the air burning my lungs. I felt a crushing weight on top of me, like a body that did not breathe. Panic filled my head, but my mouth refused to scream. I heard a voice whisper my name right beside my ear. It was familiar, yet twisted, with a hoarse, distorted tone that sounded like it came from a grave. It was waiting. When the pressure lifted and I could move again, the room was empty. But the bed still carried the deep imprint of something that had been there. Dark fingerprints covered my arm. That cursed feeling remained. Something not of this world had seeped into my home, and it had no intention of leaving. There was no time left to deny it. Objects were thrown violently across the room. Doors creaked and slammed open and shut, as if invisible hands were forcing them. Sleep was no longer possible. Every shadow came alive and moved toward me. Even my reflection reacted seconds too late, staring back at me with hatred in its eyes. I begged him to stay with me. When he was in the apartment, that crushing fear grew quiet, as if obeying its master. It felt controlled, not gone. But the moment he walked out the door, the terror returned with brutal force, as if angry that I had taken him away, like something was punishing me. It felt personal. One evening, he invited me to his place. Inside a dusty box, I found the photograph. In the black and white image, he stood beside a woman who looked exactly like me. The photo was from decades ago. As I leaned closer to the woman's face, my blood froze. Her eyes were empty, hollow, completely lifeless. When I threw the photo at him, he didn't deny it. That thin, merciless smile appeared on his lips. "Some stories aren't meant to end," he said. In that moment, I understood the true source of the horror. That terrifying presence wasn't following me. It was a warning, waiting for me to realize who I was really with. He hadn't chosen me by accident. Everything I experienced was meant to tear the veil between his world and mine, pulling me into his darkness. I tried to run. I packed my things in a panic and fled into the street, but it was useless. No matter where I went, he was already there. When I looked into mirrors, I no longer saw my face. I saw his decaying reflection. Even with my phone turned off, his voice echoed through the room. He told me the only power that could keep him in this world was an obsessive love. "And now," he said, "you are part of this eternity." On the final night, he gripped my hand hard enough to crush my bones. His skin was ice cold, but that cold no longer felt strange, as if I had always lived inside it. As he grew stronger, I felt my life being drained away, my body drying out. First, the fear disappeared, then the pain, then everything else, quietly. He leaned close and whispered that his revenge was never about causing pain. "It was," he said, "about never being alone again." I could feel myself fading. Now I understand why I feel so light, why my voice makes no sound. I leave no footprints where I walk. I no longer feel time passing. I am in between. Sometimes I see him smiling at me, like a sculptor proud of his work. Sometimes I wonder if I ever had a chance to escape. I didn't even fight it. Some love stories don't end with goodbye. Like mine, they end with eternal captivity, frozen forever in the cold of limbo.